while we don't actually know any official results from last night, things do not appear to be looking too great for former Vice President Joe Biden in Iowa, or quite frankly in South Carolina, where a poll released this weekend shows Tom Steyer breaking through the so-called Biden firewall, surging into third place there.
That's right. Here via Skype to weigh in on both last night's frustrating caucus and the upcoming nominating process is Benjamin Gerdes. He's the Senior Press Secretary for Tom Steyer. Ben, it's great to see you. Thanks for joining the show.
Good morning, guys. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. So, Ben, you were telling us during the break that Tom Steyer is actually headed to Nevada and then to New Hampshire. Of course, we've actually seen a huge surge for Steyer in places like Nevada and in South Carolina, in the early states, particularly in morning consults, even tying Elizabeth Warren in the last poll. What do you owe much of that rise to? I mean, quite frankly, for much of us, it just seems like they're buying this, or your campaign is buying this through a blanket of ads. What's the response to that?
Well, I think it's a commitment from the campaign from top to bottom. Look, in South Carolina, for example, we've got 90 staffers on the ground. Tom's done, I think, over 50 events in the state, going around, going to churches, going to meet and greets, meeting individuals all around the state individually. And of course, ads are a part of that. But what I really attribute it to is Tom's ability to put together the diverse coalition that you need in order to win this nomination and beat Trump in the general election. And the reason we're going to Nevada is to say thank you to those voters who have propelled his candidacy early on here before we head to New Hampshire for the primary on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm. So obviously we have no official results. However, from what we've seen released and from what we saw at the caucus sites on the grounds, it doesn't look like Tom made viability in any, if many, caucus sites last night. What do you attribute that to?
For us, Iowa was just the beginning. I think as this race moves along, and I think one of the things that's the most clear about last night, and like you said accurately, there are no results yet official, so I don't want to comment, too greatly. But I would say that, look, the race still appears to be wide open. And that's what we thought would happen after last night. And I think now that we're heading on to places like Nevada and South Carolina that you mentioned, where Tom is making significant inroads, we still feel like we have a real shot at this thing.
So, Ben, there's actually another billionaire in this race, Michael Bloomberg. He's doing quite well in Super Tuesday, giving you quite a run for your money there. What's your campaign strategy in order to make up for that gap that we're seeing?
Well, our theory about this race has always been that in order to make sustained gains in Super Tuesday, you need to have significant momentum coming out of the early states. And that's why we chose the strategy that we did. And, having said that, though, we are investing on the ground in these Super Tuesday states. We've got 50 people on the ground in California, for example. We've got senior staff in Tennessee, North Carolina, Texas. So we never thought that it was a choice between the two. And I would say, for Mr. Bloomberg, he's been the only person in those states. He's had the run of the show right now, and he's not running away with any of those Super Tuesday states. So we feel that we certainly, if we do well in these early states, we can absolutely catch him and continue to move forward.
Mm-hmm. So Biden's team seems to be in the posture of last night was a disappointing night. His supporters have indicated to reporters they don't think he did particularly well. What do you make of that development, and how does that relate to your path going forward?
Well, look, I don't want to comment on results that haven't been official yet, but I think what I would say is that the poll that you guys referenced at the before anything happened last night, and I think it shows that we're breaking through what everyone thought was a unbreakable firewall. And our understanding going forward is that, look, we're going to continue to make gains and we're going to continue to grow in that state. And if we're able to do that in South Carolina and do that in Nevada, we feel like we have a real shot at the nomination.
Mm-hmm. Well, Ben, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely, guys. Anytime. Thanks so much.
Absolutely.
Next up on Rising, the Progressive Change Campaign Committee's co-founder, Adam Green, is going to share his thoughts on last night's non-results and how they relate to Elizabeth Warren. That is next.